I have to have a fan on because it's a million degrees outside in the middle of a heat wave here in Denmark, so let's get. I've already forgotten how to film videos. So, hello people, my name is Asta and welcome to this video that I have decided to make, and that is the Authortube book tag. So I have talked a little bit about it during my book talking and stuff like that. Hopefully more bookish videos will be coming soon. I have some plans. I just need to not have a million degrees outside my window and inside my apartment. So I will see what is going to happen, but I thought that I will try to get back into recording videos by making this Authortube book tag. Since I am currently reading not reading, oh my god. As I'm currently writing a lot of stories, some that I hope that one day it's going to get published. We will have to see. It's a bit of a challenge for me because I am Danish. My native language is Danish, and I am writing in English, and plus I'm dyslexic. I have a hard time with words. That's the tag. Whoa. So it is a little bit hard, and I have millions of ideas, and my mind will never stop with things in my head. It's kind of a problem, and I'm working on it. So my rambling aside, let's get started. The first question is, how did I find out about Authortube? I found out with a few tubers that began to delve into Authortube too, and that's kind of how I found out about it. I kind of have for a while known about it, I just have not really delved too much into it, and I first recently in the past year or so found out that there was a tag to do this, so that is kind of how it do. What genre do you write in? I mostly write in fantasy and sci-fi, mostly fantasy, but I have some sci-fi ideas, and I'm also kind of working on sci-fi dystopian thriller things. It's not something I have worked much in, it's just an idea I got from dreams. So I just wrote down some notes, but mostly fantasy and then sci-fi. What are your preferred writing tense, point of view and category of the story? Children's, YA, new adult? Way of writing is from multiple point of views. It has always been a problem for me to stay in one point of view. I certainly begins to not know what the characters is supposed to do, and then I find it easier to like skip over to another character while I think about what one of the other main characters is going to do. It just makes things easier for me. I cannot stay in the same character for multiple chapters at a time. I need to be in the head of other characters. The category of the story is a new either. I'm mostly writing in what I will categorize as new adult or adult stories. Maybe a little bit of YA, but I'm not really sure because I'm not an expert in how to categorize my stories and stuff like that. Maybe some would find it new adult, while others might find it YA. I'm not sure. I will say new adult to adult because most of my characters is kind of the older side, like in the mid 20s and up. So I will say new adult. I think there's not many characters who is like in their teens and stuff. I just have a hard time writing young people for some reason. Even though I have been young myself. Are you a plotter, pantser, or planter? Is a hard question. I think I'm more a plotter, but I'm not really sure. I'm just writing. I just write down what I need to write down, and then hopefully one day a story comes out of it. It's kind of how I do. Are you self-published? Published, or yet? I am yet to be published. As I said, I have hope I really want to get published one day, because it is one of my passions is to write. So hopefully I do that. What publishing company, literary agent and or printing company are you represented by or use? If not yet published, what is your dream publishing house or literary agent? I have absolutely no idea. I'm so far in that stage that I want to think about it. I think I might self-publish, but I'm not really sure which path I'm going to take yet. So what Authortube related videos can we find on your channel? I will want to do some writing vlogs. I also want to do some talking videos about how I write, since English is my second language, and how I write as one who has struggled with words in both languages. Both Danish and English is sometimes very hard for me. So that is maybe the kind. I also hope that I can get more read more about up on how to do things, and I also maybe want to do videos where I plot things in notebook that I have for stories and stuff like that. But I mostly talking about writing and writing vlogs and stuff like that. So for now, I hope that I can branch out and talk a little bit more about stories and stuff like that, what I think is important in a story, or some on how to do things, and representations, and diversity, and all that stuff. That is something I want to talk about. And I also want to talk a little bit about how maybe others' writings have affected me over the years and stuff like that. But I'm slowly planning some things, but this is still mostly a booktube channel, but I will delve into writing stuff here and there. So when did you start writing? I will say that I started writing stories when I was around 11, 12. I made my first story idea, and sadly I lost that story, which is really, really sad, because I remember much of it very, very clearly, so I think I will use it for a story for another time. But that was around that, because that was also around the time where I read a lot, because that was what I do during recits, because I had no friends. First story you ever wrote. That was kind of what I got a little bit into on the other question, but again, I wrote like a short story to like a event on my school, and that was the one that I lost, but still remember things very clearly. So that was kind of fun, and I was quite proud of it back then, even though I'm sure there was a lot of mistakes in it. And that at that time it was in Danish, and it's first, like, I will see 6 years ago or something that I started writing story more in English, and began to translate my older stories into English while rewriting them also, because that was I didn't know how to do a proper story back then. So I still kind of not do, but I'm still trying, and I analyze the stories when I read and stuff like that. So hopefully I am much better at it than I was when I started. What authors inspired you to write the most? So as I said, I told you that I used most of my recess in school reading, because I didn't have any friends. And books that inspired me the most was stories about dragons, and the author really got me into writing back then was Christopher Perini with his Inheritance Cycle series. I wish I could show you my old copy of the Aragon books. I read them in Danish. I have never read them in English, and I want to do that, and I now have English. I read them in Danish. I loved them. I have read the first one multiple times, and because he was so young, I think he was like 16 when he wrote Aragon or something like that, and I was like, I want to do that too. I want to write a story and publish as a young teen as well. And now I'm almost 30 and have not published any books, but he inspired me to write the stories in my head, to write about dragon riders and dragons, and I think pretty much every story I have, there's some type of dragon in it. So he really inspired me a lot. So hopefully, so that was really, really cool. It was one of the most, I think this was one of the bigger fantasy series that I read as a teen in school, and I love them all, and I need to reread them. So, do you schedule writing session or simply write whenever you can find time? I just write when I have the inspiration. It's not. As I said, I have multiple stories. Like, you can be a mood reader. I'm kind of also a mood writer. So I write on the stories I want to write on that day when I write it and when I have time and stuff like that. So I just write the stories that I'm in the mood for. If I'm in the mood for my sci-fi story, I write that one. If I'm in the mood for my Dragon Rider stories, I write that. So that is kind of how I do. It's a mess. I'm trying to focus on a few things, but it's still a mess. You type on computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand or use blend of those? Or where do you write in general? So I have, when I started writing, I used Word, Microsoft Word. I have since then stopped doing that, and now I use campfire writing, and that is amazing. And I think that most of my stories is going to go on that one because I really, really love that. Mostly using Campfire and LibreOffice, which is a free software that you can get, and I would highly recommend that if you don't want to support Microsoft. What are you most looking forward to now that you're part of Authortube? I am looking forward evolving and discussing things with people, make some videos on my experience on writing and stuff like that, and I just want to have a fun time, so I thought that I wanted to do this and join this video, and my necklace broke for some reason. God damn it. So that is basically what I want to do with this with the Authortube side of my channel. So yeah, so that was the last of the questions, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Like, comment and subscribe. Everything of that is free, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.